Shocker! Shocker!
I never get tired of that clip. It's glorious. As is the fact that the Shocker's design has remained relatively unchanged for decades. An even more impressive feat when you learn that part of the inspiration for that look was a quilt/blanket. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and it's always fun to take a look at a villain origin. See how it holds up, if the character landed, why not. And this origin comes with some jazzy old slang. I really need to know if people said dad in this context as much as they do in this comic. But before we get started, something that is still used in a gaming context, and that is heroclix. This video is brought to you by heroclix. Heroclix is an award-winning miniatures game with a simple beginner-friendly rule set that makes it easy to learn, even if it seems daunting at first. You can get numerous figures from multiple fandoms, so you can have some creative, fun gaming experiences. And when it comes to Spider-Man, you have lots of options, including Spider-Man Beyond. It does share the same name as the recent Beyond arc, but it's not like that. No Chasm or Maxie in danger in here. Instead, Spiderling and Miles Morales, also Spider-Gwen. You can go full-on alternate Spidey roster. This set comes with 7 pre-made campaigns, or you can customize your own for a unique experience. The Beyond starter comes with 10 characters, with more available to add on, who come with their own map should you so choose. And of course, you can mix and match characters as well, adding to the replay value. If you're interested in enjoying your own Spider-Man Beyond adventure, I'll have the link down below, and if you use my code casually10, you get 10% off your purchase. You can go up against the Shocker in this too. Now get ready for OG Shocker to shock you, and for a classic Marvel cover, one that's gonna get aggressive with you in an attempt to hype you up. This is issue 46 of The Amazing Spider-Man. It's from the year 1967. Who says this isn't the Marvel age of vile new villains? You and Spidey are about to be jolted by the sinister Shocker. Nice alliteration, always appreciated. They just want you to get hype. It's how classic Marvel built excitement. Lots of building the reader up, like you asked for it, or here by popular demand, whether people actually asked for it or wanted it or not. It's to make you feel like you're in a special club. The cover's talking to you. There are other people who are fans just like you. It was very effective for the people it landed for. It built very strong brand loyalty. It creates this kind of vibe, and that's why a cover like this can work. Of, oh, who's talking smack about the vile villains? We open and Spidey's arm is in a sling. He messed it up fighting the lizard in issue 44, and it's still sprained, but that's not going to stop him from being Spider-Man. There's too much going on. After taking some time to establish that Peter set up his camera because he was going to take a nice standard posing against a wall shot, we're introduced to the Shocker. My blow doesn't even have to reach you. This is why they call me the Shocker. Spider-Man goes on to note that that's why the wall he was on shook, because of the vibrations. When I was a kid, I thought Shocker had that name because he had electricity, and that what they were drawing when it was coming out of him, because that's why I first saw him on the Spider-Man animated series, was electrical shocks. And then I got older and learned other slangs for what Shocker meant, inappropriate slangs. And then I got even older and learned that it was for vibrations. Not good vibrations though, at least not for Spider-Man. And those vibrations are also why his costume is so padded. It comes to look less padded over the years, but here in this first outing you can really see that it's supposed to be kind of puffy and foamy. The Shocker was created by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. On his design, Romita stated, "I used a lot of very subliminal feeling. While designing the Shocker costume, for some reason I thought cushion and quilt. I'm thinking if the guy has a shocking power and vibrates buildings so they fell apart by shaking them, then there's gotta be some kind of cushion effect. And so subliminally I did it." He says subliminally, but inside the comic itself it explains that that is the reason for it. So if a subliminal in the design, it does not remain so in the comic itself. It is very explicit. It just makes me wonder, is the Shocker really sweaty in there? Does this fabric breathe? Now don't get the feeling I'm mad at you. It's just that I hate anybody to skip around town in a jazzier costume than mine. Yes, I know Spidey and Jimmy sound similar. There's a subtle difference there, I swear. Also Peter, I'm sure Aunt May has some quilts at home. You too can be a padded wonder. Oh right, you asked for a fool. See how you like a punch with a trip hammer vibration shock added. I'm more interested in my stolen wealth than I am in battling my inferiors. I gave you your chance to escape unharmed. You would have been wiser to take it. The vibro shock unit on my fists makes my blows a dozen times more potent than normal. Ooh. I like that the Shocker has already named everything. He's ready. His moves, his gear, he just needs an action figure. But then, before Spidey can draw back his one good arm to launch another blow, the Shocker strikes again with a double vibro smash. Oh, a two-arm punch. Just gotta rub it in. The one of his arms is sprained, huh? No one that lives can stand up to my twin punch with the combined force of both my vibro smashers. Even if you had the use of both your arms, you'd still be totally helpless before the superior power of the Shocker. You know you're getting into it and you're referring to yourself in third person by your villain name. Next time you'll know better than to challenge your superiors. My vibro blast power makes me the most invincible human on Earth. As you have already learned, no one can hurt me when I can deflect any blow by vibrating. No one, not even the sadder but wiser Spider-Man. You could also kill him. He's Right there. No? Okay. Maybe next time. Except by then it'll be too late. Peter got photos of all of this so he can now sell them to the Daily Bugle. Whether he wins or loses as Spider-Man, he gets paid as Peter. Now this issue has a couple of subplots, which was the norm for Spider-Man at the time. One is Harry asking Peter to move in with him because his dad bought an apartment for him and he wants to share it with someone, his friend. So Peter has to decide whether or not he can leave Aunt May. This one has worked out nicely in the same issue because Aunt May is having a dilemma about whether or not she can move in with Mary Jane's aunt because she's been lonely since MJ moved out. So that one wraps itself up nicely. Another subplot is that of rival photographer slash reporter slash crime boss Frederick Foswell trying to figure out just how Peter gets all these excellent pictures of Spider-Man. So he's stalking Peter disguised in an alias named Patch. I mean, go hard or go home in disguise. So there's a lot going on, and in the midst of all this, we still have time for Shocker backstory. But Peter Parker's time would be running out faster than he suspects, for at that moment, in another part of town, everything went perfectly. Nobody'll think to look for me here in an old abandoned loft building, and if that meddlesome Spider-Man butts in again, I'll finish him for good this time. In fact, it might be a good idea to destroy him just to show the world how powerful I am. Yeah, that would have been a good idea, if only you thought of it earlier. It's okay, now he has time to wax poetic. I remember how it was before I gained my great vibrating power. I was just a 2-bit safecracker, bumbling, frightened. I'm a 2-bit loser, can't afford to get napped again. Positive affirmation, Shocker, positive. He gets arrested, and it's in prison that he makes his vibrating device and uses it to escape. It worked better than I could have dreamed. The wall was shattered within seconds, but I was almost injured too badly to make a run for it. Didn't realize that the feedback would be so strong. Lucky I wasn't killed. But I'll worry about that later, once I'm safely out of here. And work on it I did. Hour after hour, day after day, week after week, until finally, just a short time ago, it's finished. The foam-lined fabric and heavy boots will absorb any future shocks, while my belt will contain a lifetime battery for a permanent power pack. Ooh, patent the lifetime battery. That's a really good invention. By locating my vibro shock units within my metal knuckle plates and making them thumb-operated, I knew I'd made myself unbeatable. And from that day on, the Shocker has proven himself supreme. You know, as quilty as he looks, this is a very good invention. I mean, over at DC, you have Crazy Quilt going on. That is a far less credible use of quilting than this. Meanwhile, we have Peter, who's dating MJ, but he's thinking about Gwen. This is a bit before we enter the era of hardcore Gwen endgameness, which would obviously end when she died. Right now, he's into MJ and how hip she is. Celebrations are my favorite people, Dad. Let's cut out. Gwen's not bad, Dad. Not good, maybe, but not bad. Gwen has a very party girl look this issue. That's gonna tone down too, because they have to make MJ the party girl and Gwen's the good girl. This after leaving being the more mean girl that she was during the Ditko era. Ready to dive into a two-scooper with me now, MJ? Now while the juke is jumping, Dad, since you can't shake up a storm with your wing and a sling, I'll take our rain check till the coins run out. I'll be taking off soon. Have a happy. That I've heard. I haven't heard people say Dad this much though. Shocker smashes Spider-Man. Wow, the Bugle got that paper out fast. Peter slips out to go look for the Shocker. And he also has to pretend to be two people to throw Frederick off his scent by pretending that he has a deal with Spider-Man where he splits his take from the pictures with him to throw his stalker off his scent. He says that he sounds like two people because one is mask on, other is mask up. He also decides that he doesn't need his arm to sling anymore. It got better. Spider-Man finds the Shocker and bursts in, making a man from Uncle joke. Don't threaten me with a good time, Peter. And so they fight, and Peter still has to put in a decent effort against the Shocker's moves and vibrations and double punch. It is a very dynamic fight and feels like the two are decently matched. And then Peter proves that hanging out with MJ is rubbing off on him because he calls the Shocker Dad. Don't count on it, Cuddles. Your Shocker gizmos won't work if your thumbs can't touch those crazy control buttons, right? My thumbs, I can't move them. You know it, Dad. Dad, Cuddles. Well, the first one raises the question, when he punches him, is he padded? Is he soft to the punch? That's the whole idea, mister, and it means you can't cushion this little love tap, can you? Don't bother to answer. A few seconds later, thanks for the picture, Shocky. And so the Shocker is dealt with for now. Which leaves the wrap-up. Peter moving out to live with Harry. He says a little tearful goodbye to Aunt May because, you know, of course, moving out and all that jazz. But all in all, this was a decent issue for Peter. He got to move in with a friend. Things went well with MJ. They weren't awkward. There wasn't any kind of kerfuffle between him and Gwen or Flash or anybody. He got paid. He won his fight as Spider-Man and didn't get hurt. Things really worked out for him this time, which is why at the end he suddenly just starts having angst for no reason. So why this letdown feeling? Why this mood of depression that I can't seem to shake? Is it just a natural feeling of homesickness, or is it something deeper? On that fateful day when I became Spider-Man, perhaps more than a physical change was wrought. Perhaps in some strange, mysterious way, when I gained another identity, I lost the capacity for happiness. Next, more powerful, more dangerous, more deadly than ever. The return of Kraven the Hunter. I think Peter needs to talk to somebody. You know, 60s Marvel, we can have one issue where Peter's happy and things work out for him. One happy ending for Peter won't make people stop reading. We can still have him struggle to balance his identity and what that means for him, but he can be okay just this one issue. The Shocker has a solid introduction and a good Spider-Man story. There are a lot of strong Spider-Man stories in this era, and this is one of them. The balance between the action and the slice of life is really well done. There's a strong villain, Peter's subplots are balanced and interesting. Plus it feels like things are moving forward for Peter. Even if it does hit the melodrama hard at the end there, it's struggling hard to reassert that lousy Parker luck, even though he had really good luck this issue. The Shocker would go on to become one of the more recognizable Spidey villains, joining the Masters of Evil, the Sinister Six, being adapted, becoming part of games. He also later will get a name, because in this, despite the lengthy flashback, he didn't think about his own name. It's Herman Schultz. Of course, characters grow as they become more popular, you get to learn more about them. Like in a Venom issue, you learn that he's always wanted to open a cat shelter. Guess he can find more use for those quilts. For the Shocker, this was a strong opening, certainly an unforgettable look. He has a simple motivation, it's not the deepest, but it works. Until he becomes another in the roster of characters messing up Peter's life. What do you think of the Shocker? What's your favorite Shocker story? Is it a missed opportunity on Marvel's part that there's not more Shocker betting out there? Share your thoughts down below, and thanks so much once more to heroclix for sponsoring this video. Please do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.